Hi guys, how are you doing today? Welcome back to Random Lifestyle Vlog. As you can probably tell straight away, I'm not wearing any eye makeup today. There is a reason for that. There is a good reason for that. Today I'm going to review and test this eyeshadow palette for you. So this is the newest release by Anastasia Beverly Hills, their Nouveau palette. This is how it looks. This is my literally like 100% first impressions video. I haven't played with that palette yet. So I decided I'm not only going to show you the swatches, tell you about the palette itself, but I'm also going to test this in action. I'm going to try and apply like quick makeup just to see how this performs like in real life. Because obviously swatches can only show you so much, right? It's not like 100% amazing swatches, amazing eyelid makeup. It can be a little bit like hit or miss here and there. So I decided to test it on my eyelids as well today. So yeah, let's start. So let's talk about the palette, the packaging. As you can see, this is the box. Just to let you know straight away, guys, 3 of those eyeshadows are pressed pigments. So if your eyes are extremely sensitive, these 3 eyeshadows might be not necessarily safe for you. The pressed pigments means that they technically shouldn't be used around your eye area, which is a little bit like, obviously these are eyeshadow palettes, right? So obviously they are meant to be used around your eye area, but most people will not be affected by that. But you might be unfortunately one of those who is like super sensitive, and then I guess it's good to know that 3 of those eyeshadows might actually affect your eyes in a bad way. This is the palette. It is stunning, isn't it? It's just so pretty, like a very beautiful, more like a cool toned kind of palette. I just can't wait to try it out. There's a little bit of like pop of color here, the lilac-y one. It is so beautiful. Let's just have one more look. Oh, I just can't wait to use it now. I love the packaging as well. Look at this kind of pattern here. This just looks like a kind of fabric kind of texture. I really love this kind of sage green color and the golden lettering. It is just beautiful. Let's quickly compare it to the recent releases or like previous palettes. So this is the one that was released recently, last autumn, I think. This is the Primrose palette, one of my favorites. Actually, I really love it. As you can see, the difference in size is actually quite substantial. That does not really mean much. Let me just show you why the difference is that big. So here we have these 2 palettes side by side, and as you can see, the main difference is that we have these 2 blushes over here, which I'm personally not a fan of. So I'm glad they decided not to include blushes in here, but at the same time we have 12 shades instead of 10 like here. So I think that's personally an improvement. Even though this palette actually seems smaller, I do prefer to have more eyeshadows rather than those blushes. The pan size is the same in these 2 palettes, so that's that. When we compare this to their older palettes, I have the sultry palette over here, but like most of these older palettes were pretty much the same kind of shape and you know, the same number of shades as well. So this is the comparison here. So as you can see, the pans are much bigger, but we have fewer shades in our new palette. So that is the comparison. Personally, I would prefer to have more shades, smaller pans, because you know, I can't even use these up anyway. So unless you're like a professional makeup artist, you probably won't be able to pan it if this is one of your like many palettes, right? So I did prefer like the last version of that. Also, they did have those like the brush over here, which I quite liked. These days they don't really do that, but I think the packaging is actually much more like much classier, much more beautiful and elegant. And yeah, the shades are stunning. I just wish they were smaller and maybe like 2 more shades. That would be amazing. Still an improvement compared to the last one because we don't have those like blushes. So let's start with the swatches. I'm going to start from the top and I'm just going to go in this direction. And yes, I just can't wait to dab my fingers in it. So let's see. Okay, they feel super buttery and super soft. There might be a little bit of like fallout when you apply them on your lids, because look at that. That's just so pretty. Okay, so we're starting with wings. where should I start? Let's start over here. Wings, which is metallic silver green with sparkling effect. So that's the one over here. Ooh, that is so pretty. Okay, the next one is Isle, metallic blonde gold. So nice. Belle, metallic antique bronze. That's the one over here. Then we have Wisteria. I'm not really sure the description of this shade. Let me just have a quick look because I can't really find it. Wisteria matte pastel lavender with sparkling reflect. So this is what we have over here so far. Really pretty. I'm super impressed. Okay, let's move on to the next four. Next up we have a Lily, which is metallic rose gold with multi-dimensional reflects. This is the one over here. Oh my god, this is so pretty. Hope, metallic olive green with gold reflects. This one over here. Oh boy, that is just so beautiful. Next one is Paloma, which is matte creamy ivory with sparkling reflects. This is the one over here. Oh, it's still visible on my skin, which is quite impressive, right? And then we have Fleur, matte golden peach, which is this one over here. I like those shimmers, are just so pretty. Okay, the last four, guys. So first up we have Liberty, which is matte muted hunter green. That's the one over here. So nice. Next up we have Peacock. Duochrome bluish green brown with pink reflects. Ah! Oh my god, I love it. I love it. Next up we have Metro, which I can't... Okay, matte rich clay. This one over here. Ooh, that is so good. What do you guys think so far? We're left with the last one, which is Muse metallic dark chocolate brown. So that's this one over here. Well, the brown actually did not swatch as well as the other ones, but it is very pigmented for sure. So these are the shades, guys. What do you think? I love these like duochromes, those like metallics. These are especially like particularly beautiful, but I think the mattes are actually quite creamy and nice and very pigmented. So I definitely can't wait to try these out on my face. I'm just going to obviously go with something quite simple just to test out and see how these actually perform in like real life. But I'm super impressed with the shades here. I think with Anastasia Beverly Hills, you usually get quite a lot of like fallout when you just do your makeup, and I think this could be the case here. Like these shadows seem to be quite like loosely packed, so you can actually see that there is some eyeshadow like kind of like on top of it, like pigment on top of it, so it can actually fall out on your eyelids. So in that way, I think it's probably not going to be the easiest one for like complete beginners, but you can always start with your eyes first and then do the rest of your makeup, right? Okay, so let's just quickly try it out. I'm just going to try out this one first. This is the Paloma as my kind of transition shade, or I'm just going to put it all over my lid, depending on how this is actually going to, oh, that's like a lot of product, show on my lid. Yeah, it actually shows. It's not like super intense, but it does show on my lid a little bit, as you can see. I think you can actually see that even more in the camera rather than in like real life. Also, I have quite like strong light over here, so that kind of probably changes things a little bit, but I'm not really sure how much that affects how these eyeshadow shows on my lid. We're going to try the Fleur now, just to do my crease. And I mean, so far so good. Very kind of creamy, very pigmented shades. I really love how these work. No fallout so far, but I think we're just going to experience a little bit more fallout with the sparkly shades, because they definitely are much messier. So far, like really nicely, like very blendable. I think Anastasia Beverly Hills, even though they are a little bit more expensive than they used to be, I think this is like a really nice quality eyeshadow palettes. These are nice quality eyeshadow palettes, and they're not as expensive as the other like really good ones, if you know what I mean. I mean, I think this is pricier side, but not the type of like where you have to break the bank just to get them, right? Okay, so I'm going to try this one, Metro, over here now, just to make this a little bit deeper. Okay, so far like everything blends so beautifully, and it's just like super easy to work this out. Also, it seems like apart from this pop of color, which is like wisteria over here, the kind of like lilac-y one, everything is quite like the shades are quite like easy to work with. You know, you don't really need much experience to create something like, you know, interesting with this. Okay, so I'm just going to just put this one, the Muse, into my outer corner just to make this even more deep, you know. And this one is probably a little bit more difficult to work with because that Muse shade is actually not a 100% matte. It does have some like sparkly bits in it. So it seems to me like this one, yeah, could have been done like completely matte. I think it would be a little bit easier to work it out. It seems like compared to the other shades I've tried so far, this one does not really blend that well. So just be careful of that if you're thinking of buying this palette. This one is a little bit more difficult to blend from what I can tell. So let me just get a little bit closer. I kind of managed to blend it out, but like it's not really as seamless as I would want it to. Like I'm talking about the Muse, the dark color over here. Also, there is a little bit of fallout now, so that's kind of to be expected when you're working with Anastasia Beverly Hills shades. But yeah, this one's probably my least favorite shade so far. But if you want something deeper, like there's nothing really darker than that, or like in that kind of similar kind of level of darkness. So if you want to have something a little bit deeper, you'll have to work with that shade. Yeah, okay. So I feel like I kind of want to test a little bit more shades over here. So I'm just going to do the mattes now. I'm going to try this one over here, which is Liberty, on my lower lash line. So I'm going to do a little bit of that. I'm not sure how this is going to work together, but I mean, I think I kind of want to see. Yeah, that one actually is quite nice. I wish the Muse shade was a little bit better, but other than that, it seems like everything else seems to be really pretty so far. And then I'm just going to apply a little bit of that beautiful shade over here, which is Hope, also on my lower lash, just to make it a little bit more sparkly over here, on my outer part of my lower lash. And then I'm just going to apply the Wings one on the inner part of my lower lash, just to test out as many shades as possible. Okay, so that one is actually, these shades are actually really pretty, both of them. Those shimmers are very pigmented, so you shouldn't have much problem with that. No fallout from them. The most fallout I've got so far was surprisingly from the Muse shade, but probably because I tried to like apply quite a lot of that and also like blend it out like properly, which wasn't like the easiest thing to do. Now I'm just going to apply some shimmers, some like metallic shades on my lid here, and I just don't know what to choose now. Okay, I think I have to go with that Lily shade because it's just so pretty over here. So I think I'm just going to apply that, and I tend to apply my shimmers or my metallics with my fingertips. So let me just see. Yeah, that is just stunning. Okay. Look how beautiful it is. I don't know if you can see that properly, but it's just so beautiful. It's also like duochrome, so you just get a little bit like, it's not like exactly what you see in the pan. It's going to be slightly different once you apply it. And then let's just try the golden one, the Isle, here in my inner corner. A little bit of that. Oh, that is very pigmented. So yeah, definitely a lot of pigmentation here. I'm just going to blend these out quickly. So this is so beautiful, really. Like those shades are so beautiful, and actually I think you can create quite a few like interesting looks with this palette. I haven't really used this Wisteria purple shade because I kind of want to do for something that's quite that's something that can't really go wrong that much. So I think you have like a lot of options to create something really interesting. I am just going to add a little bit of that Isle in my inner corner, just with the brush here. And then I'm going to apply some of that Paloma, the light shade over here. I'm going to apply this on my brow bone, just to finish this look off. And obviously I need to blend it out. There are like, those shades are quite pigmented, and honestly, I don't know why I'm surprised, because that's usually happens. Yeah, quite a lot of fallout. I'm not sure if you can see that, but there's like a lot of fallout happening here, so I'll just have to clean myself after just finishing this makeup. But I think this is stunning. This is not going to give you like a very crazy kind of makeup options, but it's definitely something quite different. I don't have a palette like that in my collection, and I think it can just create so many pretty looks. So let me just at this point finish my other eye, just put some lashes, some liner, some eyeliner, and let me just show you how it looks like with everything on. Okay guys, so that's the whole makeup done. What do you think? I actually really love what you can actually create with this palette. It is stunning. This is not going to be the type of palette that you can create like some crazy looks with, but it will just give you this really nice kind of classy, I'll probably say, look. You can experiment with that a little bit. I do love those shades. I really love those shades here. So definitely a really nice addition to my little collection. It does create like a lot of fallout. Like fallout is going to be something that you definitely will be struggling with, but this is Anastasia Beverly Hills. Like this, not really something surprising. So I would definitely recommend to apply your eye makeup first and then do your foundation and stuff. I very rarely do that. I usually just do my face first and then my eyes, and then I have to struggle with the fallout, but it does create a lot of mess. Other than that, this is a gorgeous palette. The only issue I have, I mean, I haven't tested like all the shades, but so far the only issues I have is with this shade over here. It does not really blend as easily as other shades so far. I'm really curious about the lilac-y one, because I have to really like play with it. I have to test it out and see how I can actually incorporate this in the whole look. But this one definitely is the hardest one to work with. Next time I probably wouldn't reuse it to kind of add some depth to the other shades. I'll maybe use it in my lower lash line as kind of like a more like a block color thing rather than like something you blend, try to blend in the other shades. But obviously that's just playing with that palette, experimenting with it and trying like different techniques, right? So this is definitely a gorgeous palette, and it is quite easy to use. You can't really go that much wrong with all those shades that you have over here, right? The only issues that I just mentioned, that's something that can be like overcome quite easily. I think this is actually a good palette for beginners as well. If you like these colors, then go for it. Definitely the quality is there, and if you were to compare this to the previous Anastasia Beverly Hills palette, it doesn't seem like she has anything similar. So I'm actually super happy with it. I really love the look of it. I don't think that the camera actually does the justice to how those like duochromes work on my eyelids. It just looks so beautiful in real life. So I'm actually really happy with my purchase here. So please let me know in the comment section down below whether you were thinking about buying this palette. Are you still wanting to buy it, or maybe after this video you decided like no, I'm not getting it. I would really love to hear your thoughts. Obviously, I'm going to put the link in the description box below, and if I find any discount codes, which I usually do, right, I'm going to put that in the description box as well. Thank you very much for watching. For more makeup related content, check those videos here. I'm going to see you very soon in my next video. Take care, bye!